All right, guys, this one's going to be a very odd story. It's a story that I didn't think I was going to be making, to be honest with you, because to my knowledge, this is one of the first times that Steam has done this on a governmental level. And it's a big problem for me. No matter how much I love Steam, we got to talk about it. So apparently, South Korea had reached out to Valve and requested that they remove a very particular mod from Steam that supposedly glorified the country's military dictatorship. And apparently, Valve actually granted the request and removed the mod because the government got in its fee-fees. This is a big, big, big problem. In my opinion, I don't like the precedent that this sets because Valve has been notorious for being very good at ignoring censorship requests. There are certain times where Valve has absolutely censored certain games, but most of the time, 99% of the time, they are very good at ignoring those demands. But this is the first time that I could think of that a demand came from a government entity. Usually, the demand for censorship comes from some sort of Karen group or some angry backlash, whatever the case may be, right? No Mercy is the most recent example that I could think of. That game got removed from the Steam store because of all the backlash, right? The school shooting game that came out many years ago, I forgot the name of the game. That game also got censored, if I'm not mistaken, on Steam. So to see them doing this at the request of a government entity really turns me off, but we need to talk about it regardless. So this article comes from PC Gamer and it says first reported by Korean gaming website This Is Game and in English by Automaton, Valve acquiesced to a South Korean government request that it remove an offensive Mountain Blade Warband mod from Steam last month. Notably, the mod has been blocked from global distribution, not just in South Korea, and this marks the first time, my knowledge, that Valve has removed the game or mod from Steam worldwide over a government objection to its content. Now, what's wild to me is that an entire government is worried about a mod in a video game. That is crazy to me, right? That shows me that they clearly must not have that many problems if they're worried about what a mod in a video game looks like or does. Just crazy stuff to me. But notably, the mod has been blocked from global distribution, not just in South Korea, and this marks the first time. Now, according to PC Gamer, which keep in mind, PC Gamer is a heavy left-wing website, so they're always going to talk about the right-wing chuds, but it says the mod itself is a baffling and risible piece, a right-wing esoterica, converting the medieval sandbox Mountain Blade Warband into a modern-day setting and presenting a warped version of the events of the 1980 Gwangju Uprising, a pivotal moment in the history of South Korea. This is a game that reported that the South Korean Game Rating and Administration Committee initially blocked the mod's distribution in South Korea before requesting that Valve remove the mod from the Steam Workshop worldwide, a request the company had fulfilled by the June 13 publication of This Is Game's initial story. Now, keep in mind, guys, if you want to adhere to South Korea's removal request and remove the mod in that particular country only, fine. Do what you got to do. That country clearly doesn't have many problems to be offended by a mod in a video game. So if you want to remove it for South Korea, go ahead, Valve, do your thing. But you are adhering to them removing it worldwide. What the hell why does South Korea get to dictate what the world gets to see in terms of mods? That is where I have a major problem with this, right? I can understand they might get offended at the perception of what their country may or may not have gone through. But I really just don't give a shit. It's a mod, my guy. It's a single player mod, and the world gets to decide what they want to consume in terms of content. South Korea does not make the laws of the land for the entire world. They only make the laws of the land that they are in. That is it. So this is where I have a big problem with Steam, and I think Steam really messed up here by banning it worldwide instead of just banning it in South Korea. Typically, Valve operates under the basic lax content moderation guidelines, slow to respond to reports, and rarely removing mods or games from Steam unless they break the law, manipulate the platform in some fashion, or reach a critical threshold of negative attention, with some examples below. Now, again, they're very correct on this. Steam doesn't really do this. I don't know why this particular mod was so egregious that they bent the knee for it. I'm actually really upset at Steam for doing this. I think this is a major, major L on Valve's front. So a couple of examples, like I mentioned earlier, the game No Mercy which was a game that got banned recently because a bunch of Karens got angry at the video game. That one got taken off the Steam store, even though there's a bunch of video games just like it available on Steam. But since the Karens don't know about that one, it hasn't been removed, but this one was. Anyway, Domina, a gladiator management sim where several years after launch, the developer began using thin patch notes as an outlet for anti-trans invective, removed from sale by Valve after multiple warnings. Active Shooter, a school shooting simulator, seemingly banned by Valve, less over its content and more about the developer's history of customer abuse, publishing copyrighted material, and user review manipulation. And then Fursan Al-Aska, the Knights of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, an FPS where the player controls a Palestinian fighter killing IDF soldiers, including recreations of references of the October 7th attacks, banned from sale in the UK, Germany, and Australia. So there are a few examples. But again, I want to be very clear. This is the first time, at least that I could think of anyway, that Valve has done it for a government entity. Like they say in the article, Guangzhou Running Man is, to my knowledge, the first time Valve has removed a game or mod from Steam worldwide, not over content, not over breaking the law or breaking the terms of service, but rather a government's objection to the content in question. This is a huge problem. It's a precedent that is going to be set by something like this, and I can understand even PC Gamer can understand this as well, as much as they are hardcore leftists. They even say at the end, Guangzhou Running Man is truly a bizarre edge case, but I would expect to see more interventions like this by governments to seem both sympathetic and nefarious in the future, which nefarious being the key word. They absolutely will be nefarious in this, because now that South Korea has gotten away with it and has gotten Valve to actually ban the game, there's no telling what can come from this, really. There's no, like, so you mean to tell me that anytime a government gets upset, Valve is just going to ban whatever the hell they're upset at? Are we really starting to do this now? Is this really starting to be a thing? Again, I love Steam. I have backed Steam for 21 years now, okay? I absolutely have zero problems with Steam overall. They have screwed up once or twice in the past, but it's usually pretty negligible, and they are pretty good in terms of consumer advocacy and consumer rights. They're pretty good with it. But this right here, this is stupid. It doesn't matter how much I enjoy a product. If the company does something dumb, I'm going to call it out to the best of my ability. And I think that this is absolutely dumb. Them bending the knee to South Korea worldwide is a huge issue. If you want to bend the knee to them in their own country, then go ahead, do your thing, and let them ban it in their own country. But you are choosing what the world gets access to based off whether or not South Korea is offended or not. It's absolutely insane. And that needs to end. That cannot move further anymore. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. I mean, what do you think about all this? Am I going crazy or am I right on this? I really am really upset at Valve doing this nonsense. This is bullshit, to be honest with you. And I really didn't see this coming. You know, banning things because they cause backlash, massive backlash. I already have a problem with that. Even though the content that was removed is not something I would play and it's extreme content, I can understand both perspectives on that one. But this is simply the government got offended over the portrayal of how it looked and it didn't like it. It hurt its fifis. Remove this content. That's really what it is. And a government entity, no less, asking you to remove a mod, that is ultimate pathetic, in my opinion. And that is even sadder to remove a mod like that based off government requests. So again, anyway, you guys let me know, man, in the comments down below. What do you think about this? Did Valve mess up? Is this a Valve? Is this an uncommon Valve L? Is it an uncommon Steam L? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you guys on the next one.